Hello, my beautiful Taurus family, and welcome to our April 2021 reading. And as I'm sure you're well aware, this is the beginning of Taurus season here in April, and we have a lot of beautiful energy joining you as April rolls through. And I'm so excited. It truly is such a magical, powerful, potent time of year, a great year for part of the year for healing and integration and creativity and warmth and growth, and just like kind of creative fertility, right? Like, so just being able to move forward on projects, ideas, connections, and I think we need that energy so deeply. Of course, for you all this month, it's a mixed experience because as we move through Aries season, this is a sign right before yours. So right before we have Venus moving into your sign, Mercury moving in, Sun moving in, we're obviously doing a ton of this work in Aries energy, which is, for Taurus, this is a time of rest and integration before your season begins, before we hit right into that sweet, wonderful Taurus energy. And so this is an important month at the beginning of the month to rest, to listen into yourself. And the note that came through really strongly when I thought about this month was self-acceptance as you are now, right now. I know we're often striving for deeper integration, more energy, more playfulness, more creativity. We're gonna come back to life after a year of stress or whatever, right? Like, we have these things we want to cultivate in ourselves, and that's great. You know, it's always an ongoing journey, exploration, discovery, and integration, and right, that's all great stuff. But the message came through loud and strong that whatever you're feeling, right, about yourself, like whether it is that you're feeling a little low energy early April, or that you wish that you were feeling a little bit more this or that. I don't even know. You know, we all have our different requirements of ourselves. Let that go. Because even if, you know, you have lower energy, let's say, in Aries season, or you're feeling a little agitated, or you're feeling a little bit like you can only pick up so much of a project and then you have to put it down again. Anything that you may be feeling in that realm, right? Rather than thinking about it as something that is a liability, slowing you down, messing you up, getting you off track, just practice being like, that's great. I want to listen into this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to utilize this. You know, the sign right before yours, that when that energy, the Sun, Venus, Mercury are all going to be moving through Aries, and there's going to be a new moon in Aries as well. So all this energy right before your sign, this is spiritual energy. This is about the hidden, the unseen. This is about the energetics of listening to your soul and something beyond who you think you are as like this person that looks like this and does this in this community and listens to something a little deeper. So you want to utilize that energy to your advantage this month. Now, of course, when we hit into all that energy flowing right into Taurus, it's going to feel really, really energizing. I mean, more energizing than maybe the weeks leading up to Taurus season. You know, Venus is coming home to your sign. Mercury and the Sun are obviously moving through, bringing clarity, ideas, communion. These are all really great energies. And of course, these planets, we'll talk about this more, especially in May, but they're going to be moving across Lilith and Uranus as well. So, you know, Taurus is going to suddenly be the sign with a huge amount of energy in it starting in April for several weeks. So this is a powerful time. This is a potent time for Tauruses. Even more reason why it's important for you to rest, recharge, prepare, let yourself kind of just like listen in the first half of April. Because growth, the faster you're growing, the more intense you're growing, the more you're opening up and feeling bright and clear, the more you have to balance that with really sacred rest. This is something I'm learning more and more in my own journey. The more that you are on an adventure, the more you are creating, the more you are authentically moving through the world, and especially the more you're like transforming or growing into a new role or having new chapters starting, the more you better make space for rest. kind of like that. I'm going to probably mangle this when I paraphrase it, but that whole saying in Buddhist teachings where it's like, oh, you should sit for an hour a day or like 10 minutes a day every day, and unless you're really busy, then you should sit for 2 hours a day, right? It's like that is exactly it though. Like, not only is the point being that to be really busy is pointless, but also that the more that you're moving through the world, the more you're going to need that time to reconnect, right? So that's a really important message coming through here for you. So once we get into Taurus season, all this energy is moving through there. We also have a full moon in your opposing sign of Scorpio near the end of the month on the 26th. And that's going to be great for just kind of understanding who you have become during your Taurus season. I also wanted to just bring this up because it was really vivid. I was having a lot of really vivid dreams this morning. Knight of Cups, that's great. I love it. I was having a ton of vivid dreams this morning, and one of them was, and why I'm actually talking to you today specifically and like made a point to sit down with Taurus today, was I had this dream about this sacred cow that was sitting outside my window as I slept. And she was beautiful. She was huge, just like such a different scale to my little human self, just so elegant and observant and focused and moving through the world with like real clarity and slowness. And I was thinking about, what she was representing. It was like in the dream, it felt like she was this really strong reminder that like all these pieces can be moving so fast around you, right? I found that 2021, especially starting in February, the way that we perceive and the pieces and how they're all fitting together have been shifting around a lot. Like one day you'll have one kind of path or puzzle figured out, and then the next day it'll be something different. And there's a lot of this kind of, with the Aquarian energy coming in, that can feel a little scattering and a little like, what's a center point? And when that sacred cow came into my dream, it was like, I remembered like, oh yeah, moving fast is not better. Moving around and like running around and being everything, Queen of Cups, ooh, you guys are getting the intuitive hits here, is not better. It's not superior. It's not Ace of Swords. Hello. It's not superior, even though culturally we've been told that for decades, for a long time, last couple hundred years especially, or 300 years almost, I would say. There's been a real thing about industriousness and quickness, and it was just this protective energy that said, stop, right? Trust that slower modality. And I was just like, oh, I got to get on and hang out with Taurus today because the sacred cow came to visit me, and ooh, it gives me shivers talking about it. And the sun. Okay, you guys, I'm loving your energy here. When I look at these cards, what I see is like a roundup of really very simple. This is simple. This reading is like, it's just so simple. Sometimes I come in and I'm like, I need to like make sure I cover all the bases, am I covering all the aspects, everything. Sometimes we get really caught up looking for like the complicated story, right? The complicated story about like who we've been and how that's changed and what we need to carry and, who we need to be and all the hats we need to wear and running around. And sometimes there's a message that comes through that's just like simple. When I look at this Knight of Cups and this Queen of Cups, like things that come to mind for me, it's like trusting your intuition, trusting the softness and the poetry of life. Knight of Cups is notoriously romantic, so I love that for you right off the bat, like that romantic, sweet, wonderful energy. And yes, maybe you have that in your life. Maybe you're having some romance in your life. That's awesome. But I think the spirit of the Knight of Cups is that kind of flowers and poetry and beautiful things and like that youthful excitement about those really simple things that like sometimes as jaded adults we can think of as cheesy or over the top or uncomfortable, and we're uncomfortable with our own like romancing of our lives, right? And so for me, the Knight of Cups is about art. It's about creativity. It's about listening to your soul and what it wants to play and create. And the same thing with the Queen of Cups, in a more self-mothering aspect of the water energy. You know, the Queen of Cups is going to be asking you to listen to what you already know at a gut level, and don't try and override it with logical ABC lists, pros and cons lists, yes and no lists. Don't try and override what it is you already know, right? Once again, it goes back to that message that came through, self-acceptance as you are now. So if that means that, you know, you feel like you should be starting up the new website and making a whole bunch of phone calls, and it's, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere at least, it's springtime, so now I should be full of energy and I should be working out a ton and I should be meeting up with people, but I don't really feel like it. I'm needing more rest still. I can only pick up this amount. Listen to that, right? So don't try and override it with who you think you need to be this Taurus season, because you're going to miss the gold that's already there with you. You're going to miss this like awesome resources already with you, right? So the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups, to me, it's like, don't fight your inner desire for beauty, for listening to your soul, for quiet rest, for recharge, for replenishment in the hidden realm. Use it and enjoy it. And believe me, these people right here, these energies right here, make it so much easier to connect and to move forward when you just relax into them. So trust yourself. And then with that, right, like, and once again, Aries season, you may be feeling a little bit more of that. A little bit more of that pullback into like the sweet, soft, creative spot. And like I said, romance yourself. Romance your life, you know, like give yourself like that awesome 2-hour nap if you need it, right? And like make it nice. Like don't even just say, oh, I'm going to take this 2-hour nap, but I'm going to apologize for it to myself over and over again. Light a candle, put on some nice music, or like, you know, whatever it is that you want to do, like do it full out, really. Then as we hit Taurus season, I will admit, this is some forward-moving energy right here, my friends. Ace of Swords, boom, clarity, right? Like, for me, Ace of Swords is one of those really crisp energies because, yes, it's the start of a new energetic chapter, but I often find that energy comes through in a time where we've been feeling like we're in a dilemma or we're in a state of fog, right? Where we haven't been able to just, like, know and decide. And when the Ace of Swords comes in, it's like you make decisions, whether that's to, you know, end something, begin something, a little bit of both normally is the case, right? Like clearing space for something new to come in. The Ace of Swords is going to cut through all that fogginess. And once again, Ace of Swords works best from when we've taken the time to dive into our water energy, right? And so it makes a lot of sense. The more you listen to your watery knowing, intuitive behind the scenes, the easier Ace of Swords just moves through, gives you the answers, and you make choices. You say yes, you say no. You know, you don't live via FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, where it's like, well, if I don't go to this event, like I'll never see these people again and maybe they won't accept me. It's like, God, you know, what torture we put ourselves through. Okay, the Sun, creativity, playfulness. And it comes back to romancing your life, re-accessing your joyful, youthful self. And I mean youthful not in the sense of the beauty industry, because my God, that is so boring. I'm having real issues with the whole beauty standard thing. Like, what is this? What is this weird obsession with like that thing? When I talk about the concept of youthful energy, you know, what I'm talking about is play. Play. Being willing to just try things, go for it, taking it so much lighter. We get so serious about our creativity. We get so serious about our identity in this life. We get so serious about our healing in this life. We get so serious about our integration and our transformation. And we just, sometimes it's nice to just remember, like, you're allowed to access that lighter playfulness anytime you want. And this month, it's very important, I think, during your birthday season, during Taurus season, to access the playfulness and just go with it. Just play. Don't get too serious, right? Okay, I'm going to pull a final card today in our discussion from my Animal Totem Tarot. It is back and partially inspired by the fact that I had that dream of the sacred cow. I was like, all right, like, I'm not going to forget that dream anytime soon. And apparently animals would like to to speak this April, so we are gonna Okay, card fell. Let's see what we have. Eight of Wands. Wow, look at that stallion, that horse running through the desert. Okay, let's pull up the Eight of Wands, if I can find it. Okay. Yeah, the horse. What is the message of this horse? Break free from all things that tie you down, as now is not the time to be bound to others or weighed down. Trust your gut and go where the energy moves you. The path is now clear, and the universe is giving you the green light to run as fast as you can. That's a really interesting message in tandem with what I was just saying about the childlike joy, right? We tie ourselves down with our seriousness about our projects, our seriousness about our identities, our seriousness about the process, and that we need to do it right. And I know you all have high standards for yourself in what you do, what you create. When you do it, you want to do it right, you want to do it well, you want to do it thoroughly. That's great. But if that's like your natural placement, then in life, what you're going to be asked to do is to lighten up enough to just play and grow. And so for me, what the message that comes through with getting tied down and stuff, it's getting mired and mucked up in your own thoughts, getting mired and mucked up in who you think you need to be this month. And like I said, if you're feeling like, I'm looking at all this beautiful, playful, romantic energy, and you may have days where you feel tired, where you feel depressed, where you feel discouraged, where you do not feel like romancing your life, or like you're this kid on this horse, or things are moving fast. You may have days like that. And the thing is that that's fine. You're still enough. You're totally allowed to feel tired or discouraged or even sad or depressed. And guess what? You're still a creative, amazing being. And when you stop miring yourself up with these extra thoughts of like, okay, well, I'm these things, so therefore I'm no longer valuable, I can't get it done, I don't know who I am, you're just adding pain to yourself, right? So that's the big message. And I'm probably going on and on about this, but it's really strong. It's really, really clear. And also, once again, it goes back to that dream I had. That was a message for me for sure, but I think also meant to pass on to you, which is remember that sacred cow, right? Remember like the solidness of that energy. When I think about her energy, it's like she's so strong in who she is. She's not in a rush. She doesn't have to run. But if she feels like jumping and playing and skipping, she will, right? But she can just stand there, and that's enough. What a powerful message. I love it so much. And we are going to be diving deep on April's energy. It's the last month we have before outer planets start to go retrograde for the coming months. So this is a really great month to enjoy that forward motion energy. We'll talk about that so much more on my Patreon. If you're looking for further guidance and a little help and community and support, I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on my website and on my Instagram, where I'm genuinely trying to get back into posting more regularly. It's been such a weird year with social media, and I'm sure many of you relate to that. So I would love to see you over in both those places. I'll leave all my links below so you know where to find me. And I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe and like and just be a part of my family. It would mean the world to me. And of course, you can find my friend who's a Taurus, Tiffany, her PinkLune jewelry on her Etsy shop. I'll leave her link below as well. I'll see you Tauruses for more Taurus season in May, and I love you so much.